Welcome back, everybody. Today we're gonna see if we can't get this little strutting turkey done. He's like a little 9-inch turkey. We're gonna get mounted on this vise and get our table adjusted right. Kind of stand him up. See if we can't find us a chainsaw. Alrighty, here we go. We got a little battery saw out, and we gotta take the plug off. But there's also a little wood between his tail and that plug. That machine always leaves like shadow wood. You can't reach between that tail and that wood, so you actually have to do a little thin in there. You see, we got the plug there, but the tail is a little bit thick. At the top, it's thicker than it is at the bottom. So what we'll do is just go around that tail where, especially at the top, start thinning it up, and we're gonna go around. And now that's like a row of feathers. That's his short tail feathers that kind of stick up like his big one, but they shorter than the main one. So we're kind of drawing them in. Sitting here drawing his tail feathers in, just laying them out on each side. And if you can see right where each feather gets started. So at the edge of the feather, you can just, you kind of have to use your imagination where it lands at, but you can see where they all start at. And here we are cutting out a little bit of wood between his beard and his the base there. So we have to kind of go in there and knock that little chunk out. Thin the wood down where his feet is. Because his feet's a little bit high. I left the wood a little bit high in there. That way you could take the saw and lower it down to get his feet out. I wanted his beard supported whenever we carved it on the machine. So that makes us have a little bit of wood on his feet to take out. It's not no big deal. So we just kind of lower that down right to his toes. And we'll cut that beard loose from the base. And here we are as we separating the turkey's head from his body there. We just kind of going around with the saw and just doing a shallow cut. You don't want to cut it much. His feather patterns, you got when he's in strut mode, his feathers kind of lay out in patterns, and like the ones on his back stands out, and he kind of got this little row of feathers that goes from his head around back to his tail. It's a little bit different than the top of his body, and we just separating them out. We're laying in that second row of feathers on his tail. You just start laying the feathers in. Kind of crisscross angle. Just be sure you ain't cutting straight in on it. Make sure your saw is at an angle where you're not making like U-cut. That's the worst thing you can do when you're carving anything, is cut in there and you kind of got a U-cut. Always cut at an angle where that your bit is making kind of like a 90-degree corner, a corner cut. You don't want a U-cut. You want like an L cut with your saw. So that's probably one of the most important things to learn to do when you're making just about any cuts that's not cutting something off. Is you don't want it to look like a saw mark. You want it to look like an angle cut. Yeah, he had lots of feathers. His whole body is full of feathers, and then you got a few different patterns. They ain't all running one direction, so you can see we laying in his wing feathers here. Here we are on the other side, laying in the feathers here. Lots of little C-cuts. These are all just texture cuts that you're putting in at a Pacific flow line. You're trying to make it look like it's going in a direction. Well, they're under there. You can see them. Like all these feathers, if you're looking, but if you ain't sure what you're looking for, I guess you could overlook them. But they're under there. using the saw running over them. We're just defining them a lot more. A lot of carvers don't even do that. They just burn it out and brush it right away, and you know, it still looks good, but I would say you get a little crisper detail if you run over it with the saw there a little bit. Here we are putting the toes in. And cutting that little bit of wood out from under his beard, separating. Up underneath his body there, I usually kind of flash it up, make it look like grass, like he's standing in some grass. So we are getting ready to put his feet on the other side in. Getting the 3 toes in the front. Kind of saw them in, and kind of lower the base down. Putting a little fur on his beard there, little hair. You know, I'm separating his tail feathers, back tail feathers. They need just a little depth cut to them. Separate, cutting between his body and the back side of his wings there a little bit, opening them up. Make it look like he's standing in some grass on the back side there. This is his body tail feather, back side of his feathers. Well, that's pretty much what we're going to do to the saw work now. You see I got one of my bigger eye tools, but it's like a dovetail bit we're going to use on his head, and it's just for cutting lines. So one thing to remember about a turkey is he got like an old wrinkly, ugly head. Usually the uglier you make him, the prettier he is. So just think of trying to make a bunch of old wrinkles, and that's just a bunch of crisscross lines, you know, running across from each other. And here I am just separating his beak a little bit from his head and his neck using the eye tool. It works really good for going in there and just a little more versatile. And it ain't as wild as a regular router bit. A regular router bit, it cuts probably a little cleaner, but it's definitely a little wilder. So we're going to see if we can't wake him up. We'll give him the turkey here got a really small eye, so you know, that's another thing I can't stress enough on any of these rough outs, is having the proper size eye tool. Lots of carvers make the mistake of using too big eyes on their carvings, and to me that's one of the worst things they do. So try to find the right size eye tool for your carving, and that'll help a lot. Saber bit that goes on a Dremel works real good for going in and separating his eyes and nose and stuff. A little tweak here and there, give his eyelids, and his snood, which is that long piece of skin that hangs down whenever he's a strutting. Here you can see he's doing a little bit of work on his eye, putting little wrinkles on the side of his head there, and cleaning up his toes. Giving everything a little softer look, rounding stuff over. Got our angle grinder out now. Let's see if we can clean this thing up a little bit. Okay, we got him kind of sanded down. We're gonna get our nylon brush here and knock some of that fuzz off of it. Right now we have two turkey models. We have the roosting turkey, or one perched up in the tree, and then we have our strutting turkey here. And turkeys are real popular, especially in the springtime. You have any spring shows when turkey season's in, we sell a lot of turkeys in the spring. So here we are, we got him all pretty much flapped out. Now, I do burn a lot of turkeys, especially my bigger ones, but turkey just got a real dark body and dark tail white other than a black bar running across it. And tips of his wings are kind of light, but you know, turkeys actually do burn pretty good. But we're gonna be staining this one too, so we ain't worrying about getting him burnt, you know, real good. That's about all we're gonna do to him, because we know we're gonna be staining him. Kind of highlighted tail there a little bit, tips. Pretty much in on the carving and the flapping out there, and we'll get back to him here in a minute and start painting on him. I thought we'd kind of go over the stuff that we use basically on coloring our carvings here. Our main things, I got some dyes here that I made by Mixall that you can mix with just about anything. I use basically water for the 90% of it. Mix, you know, the dye with water. It's real easy to keep clean in my airbrush. But what I probably use even more than the colors is Minwax stain. I like golden oak, is probably my favorite light color, and then I use Ventional and black walnut for my dark colors. Minwax makes hundreds of different colors. I basically use 90% of what I do. And as far as airbrush system, I got cheap Harbor Freight airbrush, or you can get them on eBay. That's about what we use for coloring our carvings. Hope this helped. Okay, just kind of a quick overview of the way we lay down our stain for the turkey and coloring. Start out with my dark black walnut, go in and around his head and some of the real low spot, lay it down hard and heavy, you know, paint his beard. And when we get some of them creases drawn in, then we'll just make him like feathers. A bunch of little C's across his body, high and low spots, but he's pretty much dark all over his body. One big hard line across the back of his tail. Just get you a turkey picture, see kind of what he looks like, and you know, lay all your dark colors down. We get them down, we get out a little red dye and spray his head and his little snood, which is the little thing that hangs off his nose. And then we got a little green to get up underneath the base, just kind of separate him from the base. Gives it a little color like he's standing in a bunch of grass. I hope y'all enjoyed it. We'll catch you on the next one, and happy carving. Gobble, gobble, gobble.